Caller, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Oh, Bobby and
Bobby.
Bobby and
Yeah,
hello.
yeah, we spoke before, Bobby. Glad to have you back on the line. What's on your mind?
You know, I see that you've increased the intensity of the info war. I really, this is funny, right? Well, there's two things I wanted to bring up. Hillary, the whole Clinton clan, Chelsea, Hillary, Bill. The news reports on it. Hillary goes to the BlackRock billionaire house for a private fundraiser. Chelsea goes to some other hedge fund guy. They're going into their personal houses begging for money. This is insane. And CNN and MSN, they just report it like, another day in the park. That's crazy, man. And we're supposed to believe a quid pro quo doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's unbelievable. But the second thing, right? Well, there's another real quick thing. I think either Bernie Sanders got right around 50% of the Latino vote, which is incredible because nobody saw that coming, I don't think, right? I think he was competitive with the Latino vote, which was, they're not reporting it, right? But even if he lost it by like 1 or 2%, I think that's a big deal that he, the message that it got through, because I don't know what the major news sources, maybe Univision, but I don't know if Univision is being very friendly to Bernie Sanders either, right? Because Univision, Jorge Ramos, I've heard like his daughter works for the Clinton campaign, so I'm not sure. But if the message is even penetrating that way, I think that means something, right? I don't know what the grassroots is on that side. But the third thing, and I think this is really interesting too, is it sounds weird, but I have a lot of black friends, right? But you know what? I can't talk to them about Bernie Sanders because then it sounds like I'm almost patronizing. It's like a white person can't talk to anybody about Bernie Sanders because it's almost like, it's almost like you're talking down or you're patronizing. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you're completely crippled. You can't even start the conversation because they're like, oh yeah, what do you know about Bernie? You know what I mean? It's a weird, and I'm like, no, this is just politics, man. I agree that we should ban the death penalty and we should legalize marijuana and we should have a higher minimum wage and the rich should pay more taxes. But as soon as you mentioned him, it's like, like red flags go up.
But that is not just because. That is very intentional. That has been a narrative that has been craftily weaved over the summer. If we had started this conversation in June, there would be no Bernie has a minority problem kind of conversation because it didn't exist. Right? That false narrative has been meticulously woven. That's the word I'm looking for. Woven into the national discourse on purpose to make sure that Hillary Clinton maintains the black firewall throughout the South. Now, the problem is for them is that we actually can overcome that because it's just going to require. Let me start that sentence again. If white Americans who are passionate about Bernie would dig deeper inside of themselves and start the conversation from wherever that African American wants to start the conversation and listen. It's going to take that type of communication skill, that type of commitment to listen first before you transmit, receive. Listen to what they're saying. And then if you can connect Bernie Sanders to something that they're fighting for, something that they believe in, then they're open to hear you. But that's not an easy thing to do with any human being, right? Listen, thanks so much for the call, man. That's not an easy thing to do for any human being, which means the job is going to be that much more difficult for people who love Bernie Sanders and want to connect with the black vote. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm telling you the exact opposite. I'm saying this is going to be a very difficult thing for you because one, you're going to have to admit that I've been talking more than I've been listening. That I've been trying to shove Bernie Sanders' civil rights pass down their throats without considering the fact that maybe, just maybe, they're not as concerned with Bernie Sanders' civil rights participation. That's not the only thing that black people are concerned with. Maybe I should take a minute and take a step back and say, what are they interested in? What's important to you? Maybe I should listen first. So let me repeat the core thing. One, Join us over at the Bernie Sanders subreddit and engage in these types of conversations because nobody else is having them. And that speaks volumes about how poor our media really is. And it speaks volumes about the willingness of the Bernie Sanders camp to actually listen. So go to the Bernie subreddit and join that conversation. I'm over there taking questions. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Like right now, I am not in media mode. I am not in journalist mode whatsoever. I am in a straight commentator trying to fight back against a false narrative that has been promulgated by people with the same skin color as me, to the detriment of people with skin color just like me. So I have to fight back. Like you said, it's an info war. I have to fight. Not Alex Jones InfoWars, but I have to fight back against these false narratives because who else is? What black journalist on television right now is elevating the conversation to be about why there is a disconnect? What can we do about the disconnect? And then that's number one. Then number two, why does Bernie Sanders have a hard time? But more importantly, what has Hillary Clinton ever done to deserve the African-American vote? Who is doing that? Nobody but a guy on YouTube with 150 viewers right now. Caller, you're live on the air. What's your name?